Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to this early morning or middle of the night bonus upload. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, folks, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to this early morning or middle of the night bonus upload. Shall we? Today's going to be something a little different. Yes, there are Dogman encounters in it, but there's some theory that I've been speculating on for a while now. Well, ever since the beginning of the quarantine, when that happened. Of course, everyone was watching Netflix. We were all engrossed in Tiger King and everybody else and everything else. And I watched a docu-series or docu-movie, whatever the hell, called Murder Mountain, about Humboldt County, California. And I started thinking, there's all these deaths or all these disappearances and unsolved. And, of course, the law enforcement, with the news, are going to blame the marijuana farmers. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me, because when you're a marijuana farmer, you're going to want to grow in off the radar. Why kill somebody and then bring more heat to you? So pretty much the premise of the show is all of these kids once a year go and flock Humboldt County to be manicurists or take care of the cannabis growing farm. And they said that these drug dealers were eventually just killing them off, and which made absolutely no sense to me. So I started looking in the surrounding area, and in my mind, it's pure country for cryptid, Dogman, Sasquatch. So here's some stuff that I dug up and some encounters as well. I hope you guys like this, because it took me a little while to get it all together for you. Humboldt County is a county in the United States, California to be exact. As of 2010 census, the population was 132,646. The county seat is Eureka. Humboldt County comprises the Eureka, Arcata, Fortuna, California Micropolitan Statistical Area. It is located on the far north coast, about 270 miles north of San Fran. Its primary population centers of Eureka, the site of a College of the Redwoods main campus and smaller college town of Arcata, site of Humboldt State University. are located adjacent to Humboldt Bay, California's second largest natural bay. Area cities and towns are known for hundreds of ornate examples of Victorian architecture. Humboldt County is a densely forested mountainous and rural county with about 110 miles of coastline, more than any other county in the state. Situated along the Pacific coast in the northern California rugged coast mountain range, with nearly 1,500,000 acres of combined public and private forest in production. Humboldt County alone produces 20% of total volume and 30% of the total volume of all forest products produced in California. The county contains over 40% of all remaining old-growth coast redwood forest, the vast majority of which is protected and strictly conserved within dozens of national, state, and local forests, parks, totaling approximately 680,000 acres, or 1,060 square miles. Now, right there is perfect. I mean, dense forests. You've got water. You've got game. Everything these cryptids need to survive. Now, this little bit of what I'm sharing with you is just to kind of paint the picture of what Humboldt County is. According to the United States Census Bureau, Humboldt County encompasses 4,052 square miles, 3,568 square miles of which is land, and 484 square miles is water. Cape Mendocino is the western point in California. Humboldt Bay, the only deep water port between San Fran and Coos Bay, Oregon, is located on the coast at the midpoint of the county. Humboldt County contains a diversity of plant and animal species with significant forest and coastal habitats. In coastal areas, there are extensive amounts of redwood forest. A prominent understory shrub is the toyden, whose northern range limit is in Humboldt County. Now let's look at the climate for this is perfect. The coastal zone of the county experiences very wet, cool winters and dry, mild, foggy summers. In the winter, temperatures range from the highs of 40 to 59, lows 32 to 49. Coastal summers are cool to mid, with the average highs of 60 to 69, and frequent fogs. Coastal summer temperatures range from 64 to 70, low 46 to 55. Now, if you think about this, this is just perfect. You've got dense forest, perfect water. I've just proven there is plenty of wildlife there, and you've got great weather for large, hairy cryptids like Dogman and Bigfoot. This is where it gets interesting. Humboldt County is known for an unusual amount of missing persons cases. It was highlighted as a part of the 2018 Netflix documentary, Murder Mountain. Why are there so many missing people in Humboldt County? An average of 717 people per 100,000 go missing in Humboldt County every year, giving it the highest per capita missing person rate in the state. By contrast, per 100,000, California sees 384 missing person cases on an annual basis. Now, that's just California. They're excluding Humboldt. The eye-popping figures have earned Humboldt County the nickname the Black Hole. They have even spawned unsubstantiated rumors about possible serial killers wandering this part of the Emerald Triangle. Serial killer. Well, what's the apex predator? The Dogman. So what the Humboldt County Police Department are telling the public is these kids, ranging from 17 to 30, venture up to Humboldt County every year to partake in the marijuana growing season. They get jobs. Now, mind you, there is marijuana growing up there, illegally and legally. So they get jobs maintaining the gardens, cleaning the gardens, manicuring the product after, making sure everything is done properly. Now, illegal or legal, you don't want any heat. So why in God's name would these guys kill these kids or people? That makes no sense, right? Okay. So now, let's check out some encounters. Because out of the majority of those missing people, I think the majority of them stumbled onto something or something, creature, that they weren't ready to face. Now I know I probably bored you with all of that, but this is where it gets interesting. It's not uncommon to hear about Bigfoot sightings in the Golden State, but there's one county in particular with over 110 years of encounters. The lush, vast Humboldt County. These old, deep Pacific Northwest woods hold generations of Sasquatch stories. Here are a few compelling accounts from Humboldt County between 1896 and 2007. 1896, the 7-foot horse-manned wildman. One of the earliest sightings of Humboldt wildman came in August of 1896. A man named Mills and his friend Jake were chopping timber on a hot day in the forest. Eventually, the men rested near a creek to enjoy some coffee and tobacco. As they sat, a putrid odor shot through their rest area. Across the creek, a massive figure emerged from the trees. At first, it appeared to be a bear, but walked upright with unexpected ease. He described the creature's hair like a mane from a horse. The creature had all the features of a Bigfoot, from its gargantuan height to its aloofness towards humans. Mills didn't tell his boss. He was afraid of getting fired from his job. Instead, he relayed the account to a Native American acquaintance named Joe. Joe knew about these beings and said they were mountain giants and creatures of the night who were carefully hidden. To Joe, it was a bit unusual they saw a creature during the day. 1965, the midnight visitor with hairy legs. In July of 1965, 5 teenage boys were camping in a cabin 3 miles into the woods off an old logging road. As they slept, a mysterious noise outside startled them awake. It sounded like a deep huffing. Whatever it was sounded extremely curious. It tapped on an old rotting board at the base of the cabin and moved closer to the door. With great bravery, or recklessness, the boys attempted to get the jump on the creature. They grabbed their .22 and swung the door open, meeting the thing head on. The frightened teens could only see a black shape with hairy legs. They fired 2 shots straight at the shape. It screamed and ran away. It was unknown if the boys managed to wound the midnight visitor. That morning, they saw the damage the creature caused, but no blood. Did they shoot it? If so, was it immortal? The teens didn't care to find out. They left quickly. 1992, El River roadside sighting. In July of '92, a family was camping. As they were driving, enjoying the scenery, they were passing the Elk River, a stretch visible from Highway 101. They could see a hairy creature at the river. It was walking towards the woods. The family says it could not have been a bear since it walked more like a human. 2007. Anguished Camp Howls. In August of 2007, a family on a camping trip experienced 8 days' worth of bizarre sounds. Every morning around 4 in the morning, they heard long, piercing screams. They being sounded like it was in pain. It's common to hear unusual noises in the forest, but this noise was nothing they had ever heard before. It sounded like a blend of a man and a beast. It had vowels. It would enunciate the O in the middle and an R at the end. Some believe that the Sasquatch language has been proposed. It's quite difficult to imagine it being a common animal, and the family was convinced it was something else. Other campers in the area heard the sound as well. The Eureka Dogman, 1951. A family had spent 2 weeks camping above the town of Eureka, near the edge of the Eel River. Their time in the area had been quiet, and they had been fishing on the river. While they had poor luck catching fish, they were still enjoying the beauty and peace of the location. The reporting witness, a girl, was 10 years old at the time of the incident and was reportedly fascinated with the natural world. While the family camped in the area, the girl developed a habit of taking a walk before breakfast. There was a pretty meadow between 1 and 2 miles from the camp, and the girl would walk through the area watching the mist rise off the grass. At around 10 o'clock in the morning, the girl entered the meadow and started to walk across it. She was headed for a small knoll located on the opposite end of the field. As she reached the foot of the knoll, she heard the distinct sound of someone walking nearby. She believed her little brother had followed her and was hiding close by, intending to jump out and try to scare her. Thinking she would preempt his attempt, she called out, "All right, I know you're there." To her surprise, it was not her little brother who appeared. The girl watched as a strange creature stepped out from behind the bushes and came into view. She froze in her tracks and looked at the thing. She described it as 7.5 to 8 feet tall, standing on 2 legs. The creature was brown in color, but the covering didn't look like normal fur. It seemed more like soft down. The being had small eyes set close together, and the witness stated that they had a red look about them. The thing's nose was very large and flat against its face. The mouth was large with strange-looking fangs. The creature was human in form with hands and feet of a large size, as if the thing's features weren't unsettling enough. The witness reported the strangest aspect of the sighting. The creature was wearing clothes, or at least the remnants of clothes. The garments were tattered and torn and barely covering the thing, but they were there nonetheless. As the girl stood there, the beast made a terrible growling sound that terrified her. At the sound, she ran from the scene as quickly as she could. She reached her family camp, winded and frightened. In fact, the witness reports that she remained scared for the rest of the time they were on location. Obviously, the description of the creature sounds familiar to the classic werewolf of popular film, complete with tattered clothes, as if it had transformed from a normal human form into a strange bipedal creature. Was the sighting merely a figment of the young girl's imagination, or something much, much stranger? Like many puzzling cryptid cases, we may never know the answer. No follow-up reports of the creature ever surfaced, but in recent years the account has become part of the growing database of dogman sightings that have been collected around the country. Then I have this, which is an interesting little conversation between two people regarding Humboldt County. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she was talking about going to national parks with her daughter. So, of course, I sent her the Missing 411 video to make her aware of the danger. She isn't into Bigfoot or anything like that. The topic of cryptids has never come up. She listened to it and replied that she saw something strange once. Here's the conversation. What do you think? Her. I've never heard of rock or little people. It was different. The Missing 411. I believe in supernatural shit, but for me, I honestly am more scared of fucking aliens. My daughter and I couldn't go to a park. So no kidnapping and wandering back into 200 years or being killed then placed in a lake with clean socks. She's making light of the disappearances. Her, what do you think of the stuff? Me, little people? They're savage. This is where things get interesting. Her, we've been out in the woods in Humboldt and seen some weird shit we can't explain. I know you can know where you're going in those woods and still end up completely lost because the forest plays tricks on people. I also know you don't want to be in the old growth at night because there's a huge fucking wolf thing, but its energy felt different. Like it wasn't an animal. It was terrifying. It just watched us. Wolf thing? What do you mean? Her. Yeah, it was in the pasture of cows, but the cows didn't even notice it. And I saw it and fucking freaked out. And my ex just held me, and we were watching it pass by the field off the road and back toward the tree line. It was a big dog thing on all fours. Me. Where was this? Her. Between Arcata and Eureka in Northern California. Her. It definitely looked like a full-grown werewolf. Her. We were far enough for it not to care, but not so far that we couldn't see it or its shape. I'm so glad it wasn't interested. We were the only two people on the road, and it was about 3 or 4. On the phone, she explained the creature was about 50 yards away. A photo of the dogman on 2 legs got sent. She looked at it. Similar to the photo, just more canine looking. I wonder why the cows weren't bothered by it. She explained on the phone while it was going around the pasture, it was silent, not making the slightest sound. The cows didn't move. Maybe they were sleeping. When it was walking around by the cows, it was like it was walking shadow with a little bit of moonlight on it. But if it went into the open field, I don't understand how it could just disappear from sight without covering. We talked at great length on the phone after this text exchange. So, my theory is that Humboldt County is plagued by a murderous dogman, or many, or some sort of murderous squatch. There's been numerous accounts of each. I think that the police in that area are not going to label it what it really is, because then there's a whole bunch of cover-up to be made, so a quick, easy cover-up: drugs, kids disappearing, murder, buried in the woods. But, like I said, these legal or illegal drug growers, marijuana growers, don't want any heat. So why would they attract it by killing mass amounts of people out there? It just doesn't make sense. So there's my theory, and let me know what you thought of that. I really think there is something going on there. Here's a crazy little encounter that I stumbled on to end the night with. Houston, Texas. When I was maybe 7 years old, I was going into my mom's room, but I looked to the left out the window. There were these red eyes staring into the house. Judging from the eyes, this thing had to be at least 7 feet tall. I brushed this encounter off until I was in middle school when I was woke one night by my parents screaming at something. I asked them later, and they described what I saw, only they witnessed this thing move. They didn't really give any details about it. They just said it was a demon or something. But because we live near the bayou, they connect to a lot of local waterways. I think it was a cryptid, possibly a dogman. Recently, my girlfriend saw a shadow figure near the bayou, and shortly after, her car was struck by something that really felt heavy, but nothing was there when we looked. And tonight I heard strange growling and scratching coming from the outside, and it sounded from an animal way bigger than what lives around here. Sorry about the format of this post. I'm a tired college student who is, quite frankly, does not care to write neatly outside of papers. And there you go, folks, this early morning, middle of the night bonus, which I hope you all enjoyed as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd also like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is your support that keeps the channel growing and going, and what gives us a chance to share, a place to share our experiences and theories, judgment-free, simply treated with the respect we all deserve. Everyone, please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. And until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless.